तब तक हम कब्र में होंगे। आपने जब लेटर लिखी थी उस वक़्त भी यही कहा था। तो मैंने कहा जब तक फंक्शनिंग आप ठीक नहीं करोगे तो 50 साल ऐसे ही रहोगे। फंक्शनिंग उन 2 साल में ठीक नहीं हुई, वर्स्ट हुई। तो इसलिए मैं 50 साल इंतज़ार नहीं कर रहा हूं कि 50 साल के बाद किस पीढ़ी में वो अच्छे दिन आएंगे तो तब मैं बोलूँगा। इसी में तो बोलना था। 3 साल से हम बोल रहे हैं कि ये करेक्शन करो, ये करेक्शन करो, ये करेक्शन करो, तो हुई कोई करेक्शन?
आपको लगता है राहुल गांधी को अध्यक्ष नहीं बनना चाहिए पार्टी के खाते?
नहीं भी होगा, जो भी होगा वो चपरासी की तरह फाइल लेके जाएगा, किसको बनाना है किसको नहीं बनाना। तो बना क्या, इंडिपेंडेंस नहीं है।
नाराजगी इस बात से भी है कि, और बार बार वो लोग प्रतिक्रिया में यही लिख रहे हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री इमोशनल हुए, भावुक हुए, आप बीजेपी की भाषा बोलते हो, आप वो चीजें, आपका टाइमिंग ऐसा है जिससे बीजेपी को सूट करता है, कांग्रेस को नहीं।
अरे कांग्रेस को 2014 से सूट नहीं करता है तो कब करेगा सूट? टाइमिंग। जिन लोगों को पार्टी के लिए टाइम नहीं है वो मुझे टाइमिंग बताते हैं। उनसे पूछो ना कितना टाइम देते हो पार्टी में। और हम कितना टाइम देते थे? हम 20 घंटे देते थे इनकी एज में भी। और कर्नाटक, आंध्रा जब गवर्नमेंटें वापस आई तब भी 20 घंटे में देता था।
आप बीजेपी ज्वाइन करोगे?
दिमाग खराब हुआ, और उनका दिमाग खराब हुआ जो अफवाहें फैला। 3 चीज़ें उन्होंने मेरे खिलाफ बोलना शुरू की, आज से नहीं, क्योंकि दे कुड नॉट फाइंड एनीथिंग। मेरे साथ वाले, एज वाले जिन्होंने मेरे साथ काम किया है वो सब जानते हैं। उनके दिमाग में ये गालियां लगती हैं जो ये कहते हैं। एक तो मोदी ने आंसू बहाए, उसका रीज़न मैंने बताया। दूसरा घर मिला। मैं अपनी पार्टी में 3 ही लोग Z+, फैमिली एंड माई सेल्फ। फैमिली बाई वर्चू ऑफ फैमिली एंड आई वर्चू ऑन मेरिट। जब मैंने मिनिस्ट्री छोड़ी थी, पंजाब इंचार्ज बना था, 26 दफ़ा मुझ पर और बैन सिंह पर हमला हुए। ये इनमें से किस में 26 हमले हुए हैं? जब मैं चीफ मिनिस्टर बना, जब नरसिम्हा राव था, तो जिस घर में मैं रुका था ससुराल के, नरसिम्हा राव ने बचाया, क्योंकि मेरा हफ्ते का प्रोग्राम था मेरी मिसेस के साथ वहाँ रहने का। 2 दिन पहले ही मेरा जो टाइम था, मिलिटेंट को तो सब इंटरसेप्ट करते थे, कब रुके हैं, कहाँ रुके। तो सुनिए, जिस कमरे में था मैं पहली रात को वापस आया, उससे रॉकेट से, लांचर से उड़ा दिया। ये नरसिम्हा राव के वक़्त में। और सीएम के वक़्त में तो तकरीबन 11 फिर हमले हुए। तो मैं Z+ में किसको नहीं, मुझको नहीं देंगे तो किसको देंगे? बिकॉज सिंस Z+, आई एम नॉट सपोज टू सिट एनी बस्ती की जहाँ जब से वो रॉकेट लॉन्चर मारा, कि अगर मेरे घर में सिक्योरिटी भी होगी, मैं फ्लैट में रहूँ कहीं, लेकिन दाएं बाएं जो मकान हैं उनके घर से रॉकेट लॉन्चर मार सकते। श्रीनगर जो रॉकेट लॉन्चर मारा था वो घर वाले मिलिटेंट से नहीं मिले थे, उनको बांध रखा और पट्टी रखी थी मुंह में, हाथ बांध के, तो उनकी खिड़की से, हमारी खिड़की पर रॉकेट लॉन्चर मारा। लखनऊ में एक रात को उसी दिन पहले 1 घंटे दिल्ली निकल आया।
आजाद साहब, अभी आप क्या करेंगे? अभी आप
अच्छा, मैं जब मकान भी देते हैं, मैं किराए भी देता हूँ, मकान का भी, बिजली का भी और पानी का भी। आई एम नॉट फ्री, लेकिन शायद कुछ कंसेशन देते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ Z+। एटलीस्ट चलो, इनको ये तो पढ़ते नहीं है। इस देश का होम मिनिस्टर और प्राइम मिनिस्टर फाइलें तो पढ़ता है कि किसको सिक्योरिटी की ज़रूरत है, किसको नहीं, किस पर अटैक हुए हैं, नहीं, इनको तो मालूम भी नहीं है ना इन्होंने जानने की। वो राजीव गांधी था, उसने मुझे अलग बुलेट प्रूफ दी थी, IB मेरे साथ लगाई थी, उसी IB और बुलेट प्रूफ की वजह से हम दोनों मारे, वरना कब मरते थे, उसको मालूम था। इन्होंने तो कभी पूछा नहीं कि पंजाब कैसे आया। पूछे भट्टल से पंजाब कैसे आया।
Okay, so that's the former Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad, who spoke to me a short while back, and a scathing attack on the leadership of Rahul Gandhi, or a lack of leadership, as he told me. And this is just a follow-up to the 5-page letter which he wrote, in which he resigned from the Congress party. I'm just going to go across to my colleague on the ground, Tejinder, who's joining us. Tejinder, he told me that he wants to set up a party. Abhi ke liye it will be from Kashmir, but he wants to make it nationally. He's going to go back to Jammu on the 4th. On the ground, do you think it's going to be easy one for him, or it's going to be challenging to build a base over there?
See, Pallavi, this was his first television interview after resigning from the Congress party. And when he spoke to you, he said that his focus would be on Jammu and Kashmir initially before forming the national party. But yes, it's not going to be a cakewalk for him, especially given the situation in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir post the abrogation of Article 370.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just going to come back to you, but do hold on. We also have Mr. Amit Malviya of the BJP joining us. You know, Mr. Malviya, I was just speaking to Ghulam Nabi Azad a short while back, and he actually said a very interesting part, which we will play out later, where he said that the Congress party had an objection to the Prime Minister getting emotional and shedding tears for me. But it was Rahul Gandhi who, while in the midst of the speech, suddenly goes up, creates this drama and hugs the Prime Minister. You think Ghulam Nabi Azad, despite the fact that he says that very categorically he is not going to be joining the BJP, would be someone that the BJP agrees with? And second, at some point of time, you would want to help him out or take his support, especially in the valley politics?
Look, as far as Mr. Azad and his politics is concerned, the BJP does not have a comment to offer. But the letter that he has put out and the subsequent assertions he has made regarding Rahul Gandhi's rather indulgent and petulant behavior at times is not devoid of reality. We all have seen that his behavior is quite unbecoming of a man who's over 50 years now. He's someone who does not have his thoughts processed. He can't collect an idea and articulate it. He's abysmal when speaking on issues of national importance. His utterances are far from what you would expect from a serious politician. His inability to drive an agenda or to reach a conclusion on an issue is best left unsaid. So clearly, Mr. Azad's commentary on Rahul Gandhi is on dot, not far from reality. And we all have seen him manifesting that kind of very childish, puerile behavior, something that even Mr. Azad spoke about. And this is the first time a senior leader in the Congress fraternity has actually questioned Rahul Gandhi's entire disposition and his ability to make a meaningful contribution to public life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malviya, for joining us with your thoughts. We've got Manikam Tagore. Manikam, you have been strongly defending Rahul Gandhi and also attacking, say, a Ghulam Nabi Azad. But when I did speak to him a short while back, he reiterated the point that those who are attacking him are the ones who don't even know the history of the Congress party and also are not aware of the contribution which he has made to the Congress. And therefore, a Congress under Rahul Gandhi will not do well, even as you are announcing the schedule for the presidential polls.
It's very unfortunate. Azad Saab, when I was an NSUI office bearer in the national level, I met him also. And still, then the Youth Congress, and then in Congress Party, then as well as the Member of Parliament and others, had been known him for 6 years. Yes, we were not at all expecting from him. He is speaking the language of BJP. What Amit Malviya was saying, the same language Mr. Azad is speaking. Very, very unfortunate. Azad Saab, we all respected him, but he has just fallen down from that grave. And he has just telling the words of Amit Malviya is unbelievable. What Amit Malviya and people are saying it about Mr. Gandhi, he has put it in a letter. What else we can speak about Mr. Azad Saab? We all respected him, but he has fallen down.
No, but Mr. Tagore, why does anyone who become critical of the Congress party assumed to be joining the BJP or dictated by the BJP? Yeah. Because he told me very categorically that if I am in Kashmir and do Kashmir politics, there's no way I'm going to join the BJP.
He won't join BJP as a BJP member, but he will have an understanding. He will be an alliance partner of BJP. take it in writing from me. Before 2024, he will have an alliance with BJP. If he is not having any kind of alliance, I'll just take my word then. It is very clear he is working on BJP plan for Kashmir. He is being operated by the BJP people. And Mr. Amit Shah and Modi are operating through him. And they wanted to get a Muslim face in the Kashmir election, which is going to be there. And nothing else is there. Therefore, let us be very clear. The party which has given him address, everything to him. He is having 42 years of government bungalow in Delhi, madam.
No. See, Mr. Tagore, this is exactly what I asked him. He told me he got that bungalow also because he has a Z plus security apart from the Gandhis. And party may have given him, but he's also given to the party. I've also got Mr. Shehzad Poonawala joining me. But Shehzad, before I come to you, your reaction to this, Mr. Tagore, because I know you have to take a flight. But if you can respond to this. He said it's a two-way process.
It is not a two-way process. It's a one-way process. You have to understand it that Mr. Azad has been given too much by the party. There are many people who have sacrificed than Mr. Azad. But they are not had 42 years of continuous bungalow in Delhi. That we are speaking. How many times he has got a Rajya Sabha seat from the Congress party? How many times he has got the Lok Sabha seat from different states? Congress party gave him, Who else given it to him?
Okay.
What we are speaking, he should not forget the party and he should not be with BJP and RSS who have taken away 370 from Kashmir. Kashmiris will not forgive him. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tagore. We've got Shehzad still. Shehzad, you heard what Manikam Tagore had to tell me a short while back. Based on that interview I did with Ghulam Nabi Azad, your reactions to everything that he's been saying.
It's so shameful, Pallavi, that ताउम्र कांग्रेस और मानिकम टैगोर यही गलती करते रहे, धूल चेहरे पर थी, वो आईना साफ करते रहे. If Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad was such a gaddar, then why were they making him the campaign committee chief till the time he quit? And the day he quits and he cites certain reasons which you, after covering Congress for so many years, also know are very valid criticisms. They say this about him. This is the problem. There is no internal democracy in the Congress party, Pallavi. There is no internal elections. There is no internal accountability. There is only parivar above performance. There is only sycophancy and darbari culture. And the crime that Mr. Azad committed was that he wanted to be Azad and not a Ghulam or a Darbari. Look at what Manish Tiwari is saying. Will Mr. Manikam Tagore use these pejoratives and metaphors and adjectives for Manish Tiwari also? For the entire G23? For the no more than 400 Congress leaders, small and big, who've left the party over the last 8 years, all of them are wrong and only the first family of Congress and Manikam Tagore are right. It's very distasteful that a colleague who's served 40, 50 years in politics in the party, you start abusing him because he recites certain issues and those 5-page letter, those issues are completely valid. But anyways, this is an internal matter of the Congress party. But 5 years ago, even I cited this. Leader after leader has cited this. So, it's unfortunate, Pallavi, that this kind of words are being used by the Congress. It shows that just one parivar matters to them. It's a family enterprise. And therefore, today, anybody who asks the family for accountability is abused and shown the door, is sidelined. Congress should focus not on Bharat Jodo. They should focus on Parivar Chodo.
In fact, it's interesting you say that, Shehzad, because in my interview, you also said that what it needs is Congress Jodo more than a Bharat Jodo Yatra. But Shehzad, I'm asking you this because you belong to the BJP, but also someone who's watched political developments. There's a time to stick by your party when it's weak. Do you think this is the wrong time? And I'm going to get in Mr. Nasir Hussain, also the Congress party, on this. So, Shehzad, quick reply to this. Doesn't it look wrong then if your party is weak, you abandon the party, especially if you've been with them for 50 years? Yes, Shehzad.
The Congress, we should not confuse two people to be equal to the party. The Congress's problem is that it thinks the Parivar is the party. The party used to function like a Parivar during Mahatma Gandhi's days. Today, under Rahul Gandhi, the Parivar, 3 people have become the party. Let me tell you, the BJP, why don't people leave the BJP and break the BJP like the Congress gets broken every few years? The reason is because it has a neta, niti, niyat and ideology, and therefore people stick by it and they work for the party. They don't work for one individual. The problem with the Congress is for the last 4 decades, they have only had one family that controls the entire party, and the party has now transmuted into the Parivar. Parivar has transmuted into the party. And therefore, serving one Parivar is more important than serving the party. Ghulam Nabi Azad was not a Gaddar of the party. He may be a Gaddar for the Parivarwadi, but he was not a Gaddar of the party. He was talking about reform for the party. Shashi Tharoor
But
talked
why
about
not
it.
behind
Manish
closed doors?
Tiwari
Why
talked
do you
about
have to do it openly? That's what the Congress is asking. कि अगर ये बोलना ही है, तो आप CWC meeting में बोलो, one-to-one चिट्ठी लिखो. Why do you have to do this publicly?
But Pallavi, you cover Congress better than most people. You know how many meetings this has been raised in, and you know the pratikriya of those who are the Kohli of Rahul Gandhi. You know very well how these senior leaders have been insulted. You know how many times this has been raised internally, and they have leaked it out, and they have created a hue and cry, and they have abused and insulted and sidelined these senior leaders for raising their voice. The G23 and others, they have not ever made it in a public domain. I think a lot of the Kohli culture, those who are the new
Shehzad,
entrants,
I have
those
to
who
go
are
across to
Chaprati-
Mr. Nasir Hussain. It's only fair we let him speak. Mr. Nasir Hussain, the same question is that, you know, why shoot the messenger? I mean, he made some points which even we, when you cover the Congress party, see that it's a delayed decision making. Your election, for example, was supposed to be completed by 21st September. It's now being stretched to 17th of October. So don't you think Ghulam Nabi Azad and many like him had a valid point that there is a delay in decision making and the critical ones?
See, I'll tell you something, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. It is very evident from his own letter, and one and a half page of letter is devoted to himself, that he was in this position, that position, so many positions. I'm sure that at a very young age when he was brought in, when Mrs. Gandhi was at the helm of the affairs, and when he was given all the opportunities, I'm sure those days senior leaders were feeling the same thing what Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad is feeling now. So when he was given so many opportunities, I think the other leaders were feeling the same thing what he is feeling now. So when there are winds of change in any political party, when there are new people coming in, when there is young blood coming in, when there are people, young and educated or articulate people are coming in, obviously the older people have to pave way for these people. The older people have to see that there is a smooth transition in the party. If somebody is there for 50 years, somebody cannot be there forever. There'll be health problems. There'll be problems with so many other things. You say that in Udaipur Sankalp Shivar, you say that people should be eased out slowly so that others are made way. At one point, you say there are not youngsters coming. On the other point, you say that the older people should remain as and where they were. And he should also explain to the people of the country why, when Rahul Gandhi ji had torn that ordinance, why didn't he resign if he had felt so bad? When all the things which he's saying that this was happening, this was not happening, this was happening, he should have come out and spoken at that time. He should have resigned from his ministerial positions. He should have resigned from the General Secretary.
There are certain points which have been made by Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. I mean, fair point that why did he need to do it now, and it's only emboldening the BJP. But what about some of the points which he's made? In state after state, your party is weak. You don't have an organization. You have newer regional parties coming up which are actually eating into your vote bank. Will that be addressed?
See, is it when the party was winning elections in state after state, then people who were at the helm of the affairs along with Mrs. Gandhi, so they were responsible for the party winning elections. Now when the party is losing the election, so Gandhis are responsible.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. I'm asking you a separate question, Mr. Hussain. You are starting a Bharat Jodo Yatra at a time, fair enough, it's good to connect with the crowd. But, you know, you're starting this Yatra at a time when your party is weak, you're losing out in state elections, Aam Aadmi Party, TMC are coming up at your cost. Will the Bharat Jodo Yatra strengthen your party is what I'm asking.
Yeah, obviously, there is this criticism both within the party and outside the party, and the likes of Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad says that we have lost touch with the masses, we have lost touch with the ground realities, we have lost touch with the karyakartas. So obviously when you have lost when you lost touch with all these sections of people,
Okay.
you have to
Fair.
reconnect with them. You have to go to the
Fair enough. So we'll
grassroots.
see. It's a
and that is what the
Okay.
Congress Party is doing.
Okay,
So
thank you very much, Mr. Hussain. We're running out of time, but thank you very much for joining up. Thank you very much, Shehzad, also for joining up. That was Ghulam Nabi Azad speaking to me a short while back, but that's all we have time for. But news continues over here on CNN News 18.
To 29 p.m. The sirens are also supposed to go down, and 2:30 p.m. blaster is supposed to, he's the Indian blaster we have been telling you on CNN News 18. He's going to press that particular green button, after which the building, the entire Twin Tower is supposed to come down in just 9 to 15 seconds. So these are the preparations, and as far as the explosives are concerned, we have been told that they have been brought all the way from Palwal city in the Haryana district. They were charged in 9,000 plus columns, and there were holes which were digged in both the buildings, and the explosives have been put in that particular thing, and it is going to be blasted at about 2:30 p.m. So these are the details. Also why it is going to be interesting, because for the very first time the tallest tower in our country is going to be brought down. The height, it is of 31 floors, as you can see in the visuals as well. It is 103 meters in height, which is the tallest ever building in our country, which is supposed to be brought down. And if we talk about the Sian building, it has close to 31 towers. This is what we have been told, and its height is close to 93 meters. So both the buildings are going to be brought down at about 2:30 p.m. And why it has become the talk of the town, talk of the country, because for the very first time in this crowded place, because there are nearby different societies as well which are going to be impacted. Minor impact is going to come. A short while back we were having a word with the Utkarsh. He is the partner in Edifice Engineering. They are going to work along with the jet demolitions. He was saying that there is this feeling of nervousness. Also, he's feeling goosebumps because there are nearby crowded area, but they are so much confident of their work. This is the best team that has been deployed for the demolition. They have carried out demolition at other places as well, but for the very first time it is going to be carried out in the crowded places. Still, they are saying that the rubble is going to be cleared in next 3 months. Also, the rubble that is going to come down, the building that is going to come down, it will have a rubble of close to 4-story building. So there are many of the deployments as well. Noida police has been deployed in different nook and corner. The diversions have been directed by the Noida police personals. The anti-smoking guns, the water tankers, the firefighters, ambulances, all have been placed on the standby. There is green corridor as well, which has been created, and in fact the local administration is on the alert along with the Noida police, and also the nearby hospitals. They have been asked to keep a few beds on the reservation side to meet any of the contingencies. So finally we are going to see the towers, the tallest tower in the country, going to be down at about 2:30 p.m. today. With camera person Ramashankar, Nikhil Lakhwani for CNN News 18.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to News 18 Digital. Right now we are reporting from Sector 93 flyover, a few meters away from the Twin Towers, which are going to get demolished today at 2:30. This demolition is also about giving out a strong message to the corrupt builder lobby and the corrupt officers, those who have been
Continuing its journey from Kutch, Network 18's initiative in association with Novartis, Nitra Suraksha, India Against Diabetes, launched its Nitra Suraksha camps in the national capital in a grand ceremony in partnership with Delhi Police. Continuing on its mission to build awareness about diabetes and related eye diseases, the prestigious event was graced by the chief guest, Sri Rakesh Asthana, ex-commissioner of Delhi Police, who was received and welcomed by the Delhi Police Guard of Honor and special band performance. The event was also graced by eminent guests such as Dr. Ramasamy Kim, Vice President VRSI, Vaishali Iyer, Country Head Communications, Patient Engagement and CSR at Novartis India, Rani Rampal, women's hockey player who spoke extensively about the need to counter the rising problem of diabetes and diabetic retinopathy in India as a part of a panel discussion moderated by Network 18's Anand Narasimhan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition, Nitra Suraksha. So we're talking about an issue that is diabetic retinopathy. What is diabetic retinopathy? और इसका हमारी आँखों से और diabetes से क्या connection है? We'll try and explore that and also explain to you why. And we're very, very happy. And I have to say that to keep the nation's vision safe from diabetes, that's the reason why this initiative at Network 18, that is Nitra Suraksha. Besides being India's capital, Delhi is also the center of a wide range of social, cultural, and economic activities. And the Delhi police plays several roles to maintain law and order in the city. And there's some lot of hard action that we've seen from all of you. So I have to salute you for that also. As news guys, I really appreciate what you guys are doing to keep us safe and to keep our streets safe. Meanwhile, with their watchful eyes under all situations, Delhi police responsibly ensure safety at all times. Now, however, the health and well-being of the nation's citizens face another threat known as diabetes. Now, with that comes along more health complications if they are ignored, such as diabetic retinopathy, which impacts the vision of diabetes patients and can lead to blindness. With over 77 million diabetes patients in India, 75% of them suffer from some form of diabetic retinopathy. Now, to save India's vision from alarming effects of diabetes, Network 18 started an initiative to raise awareness towards this issue, Nitra Suraksha, in association with Novartis, who would like to thank especially for partnering with us and also joining issue with us to save the vision of our brave hearts and their families from diabetes. Now, today we are at the headquarters of the Delhi Police to inaugurate Nitra Suraksha's partnership with the Delhi Police and thank the Delhi Police for supporting the cause and coming together to save India's vision. I'd also, with your kind permission, sir, like to invite some distinguished guests who are with us to find answers and also to share experiences. I'd like to begin with Dr. Ramasamy King. He is the Vice President of VRSI, the Vitro Retina Society of India, and he will be giving us the answers. I have, may I also request Vaishali Iyer, Country Head Communications, Patient Engagement and CSR at Novartis India. And last but not the least, a very familiar face, and she's come because it's the Delhi Police. Rani Rampal, member of the hockey team. Aye. So, sir, let me first ask you, thank you very much for doing this and for partnering with us. What did you think when we came to you and said, sir, diabetic retinopathy, pe, we want to do a camp for the Delhi Police?
Actually, I know a little bit about it. So I felt that it will be a very good initiative, not only for the citizens of the country, but also for the police force, because most of our officers and Jawans, they work 24/7, and they don't have the regular eating habits. They can't eat at the time fixed for lunch, breakfast or dinner. So in the process, the diabetes has become very common amongst forces all over the country. So when you came to me with this suggestion or the request, I lapped it up and we immediately decided that we should be the right people to begin with this campaign.
So let's understand, what is diabetic retinopathy?
Diabetic retinopathy occurs as a complication, like you hear about diabetic, how kidneys get affected. The only problem with diabetes is over a period of time, it affects all the small blood vessels in our body. And eye is one structure, and we have the kidneys, we have the nerves, all this get affected over a period of time. So eye is the only place, as I say, a window to the body is the eye. You can see the blood vessels in its real form. So when we examine the eye, the back of the eye, we can see the nature of the blood vessels. And because of diabetes, the blood vessels actually over a period of time gets worn out. and they start leaking. They become abnormal. And this causes problems to the retina, and then the whole condition of diabetic retinopathy starts happening. So that's the main problem, how vision is affected. So we need to, but it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time.
You're saying, so should I get myself screened for my eyes if I realize I have sugar or diabetes? Or if I get myself screened periodically, I can actually find out whether or not I have diabetes?
Exactly.
Is that possible?
Yes, sir. You definitely can prevent. If you get yourself screened, when you know you have diabetes, it's very important that you go. Even your vision may be absolutely normal, but you may have changes in the back of the eye. And that can be identified only on screening. If somebody looks at the back of the eye, they'll be able to find out that there is diabetic retinopathy. And when you find it early on, further deterioration can be prevented absolutely. You can preserve your vision.
No, because कई बार ऐसा होता है ना कि आपको डॉक्टर कहते हैं कि देखिए आपका शुगर लेवल्स बॉर्डर है ना, they say borderline. So उसको आप कंट्रोल कर लीजिए, आप ठीक हो जाएंगे. So in that case, should I get myself tested or not? What is your thought process?
I believe that we should have a regular medical checkup. In forces, we have 40 plus people have to undergo this checkups mandatorily. But otherwise also, I personally feel that everyone should have this awareness to have one full checkup, full body checkup once in a year.
One full body checkup once in a year.
Yes.
But these path labs, doctors are, all these places where you go and get our check, वो तो सिर्फ खून निकाल लेते हैं and then do a urine test. They don't get ourselves screened. They don't do. So, should I be a patient with diabetes? I don't have diabetes. So let me ask you, why should I get myself screened? आप में से कुछ लोग हैं जो ये सोच रहे हैं, भाई मुझे तो शुगर की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मैं क्यों स्क्रीन कराऊं? So what will be your answer to people like that?
Yeah, see, it has got, diabetes is one problem, but if you're getting your eyes checked up, there are so many, as I said, eye is a window to the body. There are a lot of things that gets reflected or shown in the eye. But mainly for diabetes, it has to be examined. The other problems are today, I don't know if you do, there are so many people who don't get their eye examined with a simple refractive error.
Yeah.
People don't get their eyes examined. Only when they realize that a simple glasses can improve their vision, they see the whole new world.
Correct. They see, that I agree. But sometimes ऐसा होता है ना, कभी-कभार थोड़ा धुंधला, आपको कभी हुआ है रानी जी कि आप खेल रहे हैं, सडनली थोड़ा धुंधला लग रहा है, फिर ऐसा लगा चलो चेहरा धो लेते हैं, मुंह धो लेते हैं, फिर सब ठीक हो जाएगा?
हाँ होता है, स्पेशली जब बहुत ज़्यादा टायर्ड हो जाते हैं, देन यू आर लाइक कि ठीक है थोड़ा देर कहीं बैठना है, बिल्कुल ब्लाइंड आपको कुछ.
सबसे पहले तो आप यहाँ आए, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, पर आप मुझे बताइए आप क्यों आई? आपका अल्टीरियर मोटिव क्या था यार? ये जो
पुलिस का इवेंट था,
दिल्ली पुलिस का इवेंट था,
तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है बिकॉज पुलिस जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा एवरी सिंगल डे लोगों की हर फील्ड में इतनी हेल्प करते हैं. सो मुझे लगा कि अगर मैं भी उसमें कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकती हूँ, तो आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक सीपी सर फॉर गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दिस वंडरफुल इनिशिएटिव. एंड अच्छा लगा यहाँ पे आके कि इवन मुझे भी नहीं पता था इसके बारे में, डायबिटीज़ से कि आँखों पे इफ़ेक्ट होता है, या आँखों के मतलब वजह से हमें ये भी पता चल सकता है कि अगर हम आई टेस्ट कराएं कि हमें डायबिटीज़ है. लकीली कभी फैमिली में किसी को ऐसा हुआ नहीं. इवन 20-22 साल के करियर में किसी मतलब एटलीस्ट हॉकी में मैंने कभी किसी प्लेयर को देखा नहीं किसी को डायबिटीज़ हो. तो इसके बारे में सीरियसली मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं थे कि ऐसा होता है. बट यहाँ आके मुझे भी, मेरे लिए भी एक लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस है रहा कि मुझे पता चला आज कि हमारी आई साइट पे कितना इफ़ेक्ट पड़ सकता है अगर हमें डायबिटीज़ है. तो yeah.
But just like Rani Rampal did not know that diabetic retinopathy is something that can set on if you are a patient with diabetes, or if you screen yourself and if you have diabetic retinopathy, if you're found, that means you are a patient of diabetes. These are possibilities. There are lakhs of people who don't know, जिनको पता नहीं है, and that's the reason why this initiative of Nitra Suraksha. So let me ask the lady who's decided to partner with us as part representing the company which is our associate, that is Novartis. Why?
Good question, and thank you for that. I think first I would like to compliment the entire Network 18 team for this very meaningful initiative, something to do with the eyes, something to do with diabetes, which is a national problem. It's the biggest healthcare challenge in the country, if I may say so. Also want to thank all the dignitaries over here who are there in solidarity to really support this cause. So thank you very much. For Novartis, I would actually put it in three parts, why we want to partner with this initiative. The first part, if you really go to see, if I go back to the history of Novartis, we are almost a 250-year-old organization present in the country since 1947. Our purpose is really to extend and improve patient lives. Now, that really doesn't mean that, we just make medicines and it gets over with that. The entire value chain is very critical, right from diagnosis to screening to awareness. And this actually leads us to live our purpose. So that's point number one. Point number two is, if you really go back to the healthcare challenge of the country, which is diabetes, one of the biggest one. If you look at what the government is working towards, preventable blindness, I think these two pieces are very important for us to take up, more so because we are leaders in diabetes management as well as eye care.
Right.
So it has a beautiful synergy. And third piece, and this is the real truth, that we recognize the fact that we can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And we need partners, whether it is in the space of screening, diagnosis, or very, very reputed organizations who would help us drive the cause. And just to tell you, Anand, that we've been working on this since I think last couple of months, and the kind of response that we've got, whether it is from the army, whether the Delhi police, and thank you so much, sir, for this, the BSF or the CRPF, has been superb. And needless to say, VRSI and RSSDI who've really come up and partnered. So if you really look at it, it's very holistic. It's not about Network 18 or Novartis, but it is everybody who's associated with the cause has stepped up, including the government of Gujarat, the other state governments who are wanting to partner and take this mantle forward.
Because they realize it's a real issue. I just quickly wanted to ask, if I have DR, that is diabetic retinopathy, can I cure it? Is it curable?
It is curable depending on which stage you are being identified.
So jitna jaldi pakad lo, utna
The
possibility
earlier
to cure it.
you find out, cure is definitely possible. But the later you go, you can only arrest it, you can't reverse it.
You can't reverse it.
So the whole idea of screening is to do it early. That's the key thing. Before you lose your vision, you should ensure you're screened.
उस चीज़ के लिए भी कुछ ऑल्टरनेट प्लान करके रखते हैं, बट कल अचानक से ये आया तो थोड़ा सा अब देखिए क्या रहता है। वो 2 घंटे में जो लाइट जाएगी तो वो कैसे उन चीज़ों को हम मैनेज करेंगे, तो देखना पड़ेगा।
सर, तो आज ये जैसे हम कल वहां से रिपोर्ट करे तो एक लोगों के लिए कोई इवेंट पॉइंट बन गया था, तो आप किस तरीके से इस डिमोलिशन को देखते हैं सर?
देखिए डिमोलिशन, हेलो सॉरी डिमोलिशन जो है वो एक मैसेज देगा कि जो भी कोई भी इलीगल इस तरीके के काम है उसके ऊपर सख्त एक्शन प्रशासन की तरफ से लिया जाएगा। और इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने जो यहाँ अरेंजमेंट किए हैं तो अपने नेबर्स के लिए सभी को ये एक मैसेज भी है कि अपना जब भी मुसीबत में किसी को नेबर के ऊपर कोई मुसीबत आती तो साथ में आप उसके खड़े हैं, तो ये मैसेज भी एक सभी के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट मैसेज है।
So the message is very outright that the message which will be given today is against corruption and against the people who have been misusing the authorities and are involved in rampant corruption.
We are currently reporting from the Noida city outside the Twin Towers. You can see the preparations are underway. These are the green corridor which are being carried out by the Noida police personnel to carry out any of the contingency in the place where the situation arises, where the emergency part has to be carried out by the Noida police personnel. You can see there is ambulance as well. Also, these vehicles are taking rounds at a different time and at different places. Also, I would urge my camera person to show you the visuals that the route nearby to Twin Towers, they have been diverted. This is one such particular barricading where you can see that the diversion poster has been put up by the Noida police personnel. There is proper deployment of not just Noida traffic police but also the Noida police has been deployed here in numbers and in different pockets. So these are the visuals of the Twin Towers which are set to be brought down at about 2:30 p.m. We have been told that at around 2:29 p.m. the sirens are supposed to go off and the final countdown for the last 60 seconds will start, and at about 2:15 p.m. the traffic at the Greater Noida Expressway, they will be asked to shut down immediately for a brief period. So these are the visuals we are showing you. There is excitement among the residents of the nearby people. There are different societies that I would urge my camera person to show you that these are the nearby localities. These are the societies, RWAs, where on the rooftop some of the people can clearly be seen here. This is the excitement among the residents, among the people of the Noida city, and not just Noida. This has been a talk of the country so far, and today we are going to show you the visuals at how it is supposed to go down. So as per the given timeline, at about 12 p.m. the checking will be completed. Explosives in 2 towers interconnected, they are also going to be checked. The 6 members blasting team will take their position at 100 meter away from the Twin Towers, and we have told you earlier as well that at about 2:15 p.m. the traffic on the Greater Noida Expressway it is going to be stopped. The final countdown will start at 2:25 p.m. and at about 2:29 p.m. The sirens are also supposed to go down, and 2:30 p.m. blaster.
Cementing his support for the Nitra Suraksha India Against Diabetes initiative, ex-commissioner Delhi Police Shri Rakesh Asthana delivered a special address at the event, congratulating Network 18 and Novartis for their remarkable initiative. The Honorable ex-commissioner of Delhi Police also inaugurated the first of 30 eye checkup camps that will take place across the national capital and urged his fellow officers and soldiers to volunteer for a quick checkup as well.
Network 18 की तरफ से आयोजित इस ओकेजन पर मंच पे बैठे हुए मैं तमाम महानुभावों का दिल्ली पुलिस की तरफ से हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। दिल्ली पुलिस देश का सबसे बड़ा मेट्रोपॉलिटन पुलिस फोर्स है। हम करीब 94,000 स्ट्रेंथ के हैं और दुनिया में मेट्रोपॉलिटन पुलिस फोर्सेस में दिल्ली पुलिस एक बहुत बड़ा पुलिस बल है। हमारी फोर्स जो है उसको अगर नौकरी के दरमियान समय नहीं मिले समय पर खाने के लिए या फिर समय पर एक्सरसाइजेस करने के लिए तो उसका असर शरीर पे होता है, लेकिन उम्र के साथ और दिनचर्या जो इरेगुलर होती है उसकी वजह से शरीर के हर एक अंग के ऊपर असर पड़ने लगता है। एज सीनियर ऑफिसर हम लोग अपनी फोर्स से हमेशा बातचीत करते रहते हैं और हमारा एक सबसे बड़ा ध्येय होता है कि हम फोर्स के वेलफेयर के लिए काम करें, और वेलफेयर में एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा है हेल्थ का। मेनली जो हमारे जवान या अधिकारी होते हैं वो ट्रांसफ़र या पोस्टिंग्स इसलिए चाहते हैं कि वो शरीर से थक चुके हैं। मोस्टली मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा जितने लोगों से मिलता हूँ उसमें 90% लोग या तो हाइपरटेंशन के शिकार होते हैं या फिर डायबिटीज़ के शिकार होते हैं, और ये दोनों चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो शरीर को धीरे 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 खाती रहती हैं। आज हमें बहुत खुशी है कि नेटवर्क 18 ने ये बीड़ा उठाया है कि हमारे जवानों के बीच में, उनके फैमिलीज़ के बीच में एक इस अवेयरनेस कैंपेन करें कि अगर आपको डायबिटीज़ है, आपकी आंखों में असर हो सकता है। किसी को ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मेरे को अभी सब कुछ ठीक दिख रहा है तो मेरे को ये रेटिनोपैथी डायबिटीज़ की वजह से नहीं हो सकती। तो आई थिंक यू आर डूइंग अ वेरी नाइस एंड वंडरफुल जॉब। दिस एरिया इज़ अ वेरी निगलेक्टेड एरिया। मोस्टली टीवी नेटवर्क्स जो होते हैं वो एंटरटेनमेंट या न्यूज़ या व्यूज़ के लिए होते हैं, बट दिस अवेयरनेस कैंपेन फ्रॉम अ लीडिंग न्यूज़ चैनल इज़ something worth appreciating. और मैं दिल्ली पुलिस के तरफ से उनका हेड होने के नाते आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
थैंक यू. अभी आप बिल्कुल हेल एंड हार्टी है, लेकिन फिर भी आपको लगता है कि स्क्रीन करा लेना चाहिए ना, चेक कराने में
नहीं,
क्या
बिल्कुल. आई थिंक हम सबके लिए हेल्थ जो है वो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि अगर हेल्थ अच्छी है तो हम सब देख सकते हैं डेली रूटीन में कि हम अच्छे से काम कर सकते हैं. अदरवाइज अगर हेल्थ में कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम है, एक छोटी सी भी प्रॉब्लम है, तो हम खुद से इरिटेट रहते हैं, फ्रस्ट्रेट रहते हैं, एंड जो हमारा नेचर है वो भी बहुत, उसमें भी चेंजेस आने शुरू हो जाते हैं. हम बहुत जल्दी नेगेटिव फील करना शुरू कर देते हैं क्योंकि हम खुद की हेल्थ से परेशान हैं. बट हमें जो रेगुलर हेल्थ चेकअप है वो कराना चाहिए, एंड स्पेशली हर पार्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट है बॉडी का, लेकिन आइज़ जो है वो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता है आइज़ की उससे हम एक लाइफ को कलरफुल वे से देखते हैं कि लाइफ कितनी सुंदर है. अगर आई हमारी नहीं है, आइज़ हमारी सही नहीं है, तो लाइफ तो बहुत ब्लैक एंड वाइट लगती है. अगर आइज़ ही नहीं सही होंगी, कुछ देख नहीं सकते तो.
आइज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. देखिए, ये हॉकी लेके ओपोनेंट का डंडा करती हैं, आप लोग डंडा लेके ओपोनेंट का दौड़ाते हैं, तो अब वहाँ पे वो 2-4 इंच का फ़र्क है ना. अगर आई साइड क्लियर नहीं हुआ तो फिर गोल पोस्ट और गोल और नो गोल से वो 2 इंच का ही फ़र्क है. उधर थोड़ा धुंधला दिख गया तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा.
बीइंग अ स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन, अगर हॉकी की बात करो तो आइस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है हॉकी में, तो बिकॉज एवरी सिंगल सेकंड आपको आपका दिमाग तो कॉन्स्टेंटली चल रहा है, लेकिन आइस भी आपको उधर से बॉल आ रही है, लेकिन आपको ये भी देखना आपका राइट में कौन सा ओपोनेंट है, लेफ्ट में कौन सा, आपके पीछे कौन है. तो आपका आइस जो है वो कंटिन्यूसली काम करता है ब्रेन के साथ ना, क्योंकि हमारा हॉकी में सबसे मेन जो बोलते हैं ना, एक प्री स्कैनिंग जिसको बोलते हैं ना, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि अगर जब हमारे पास बॉल है तो हमें पता होना चाहिए ना कि हमारा प्लेयर आगे कौन है, पीछे कौन है, साइड में कौन है. तो दिमाग के साथ तो चलो हमें काम करना है, लेकिन आइस सही होंगी तो हम देख सकते हैं कंटिन्यूसली ना. और बिना बॉल के भी हमें आइस तो चाहिए देखने के लिए कि हमारा ओपोनेंट कहाँ पे है, कि हम जिससे अपने गोल को प्रोटेक्ट कर सकें. सो आई थिंक किसी के लिए भी आइस बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. एंड हमने कुछ प्लेयर्स भी देखे हैं जो पैराथलीट्स होते हैं, जो ब्लाइंड होते हैं, एंड वो किसी का हेल्प लेके जब वो रनिंग करते हैं, देन वी सी कि हमें देख के लगता है कि इनके लिए तो लाइफ कितना ही ज़्यादा, जैसे मैंने ऑलरेडी बोला, ब्लैक एंड वाइट है, कि इनको पता ही नहीं दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है ना, कि क्या अच्छा हो रहा है क्या बुरा है. वो सिर्फ सुन सकते हैं और उस सुनने से वो फील कर सकते हैं. बट वी आर लकी कि हम सबकी हमारे पास आइस हैं, तो इसका जिम्मेदारी हमारा खुद का ही है उसको टेक केयर करना. एंड आजकल तो वैसे बहुत फैसिलिटीज़ आ गई हैं कि हम रेगुलर चेकअप्स के लिए जा सकते हैं, ताकि इनिशियल स्टेज में हमें पता चल जाए कि प्रॉब्लम क्या है, तो उसका ट्रीटमेंट भी इजीली हो सकता है. जब वो बहुत वर्स्ट सिचुएशन में चली जाती है देन डिफ़िकल्ट है.
बिल्कुल. अब पता है बहुत लोग यहाँ सोच रहे हैं कि अगर आपको लगता है कि चारों तरफ नज़र होती है तो आप अच्छी हॉकी खेल सकते हो, तो दिल्ली पुलिस वाले सब जो है, मैं भी हॉकी खेल सकता हूँ, मैं भी हॉकी खेल सकती हूँ. हमारी भी तो नज़रें सब तरफ होती हैं. अब राकेश अस्थाना जी को देखिए, लेफ्ट राइट पीछे क्या कर रहा है, सब इधर नज़र रखे हुए हैं. अब सीपी साहब मेरे बगल में रख के इनको सब पता है, तो आप सोच लीजिए आप लोग क्या कर रहे होंगे.
एक डायलॉग है कि हमारे आदमी चारों तरफ.
The event ended with Sri Rakesh Asthana felicitating the guests with mementos, followed by the national anthem being played by the Delhi Police Band, celebrating the spirit of our forces and our great nation.
Water supply, electricity supply, because of the violation of the builders, the residents here in Noida pay a huge price. And this has always been a political issue also. And in fact, in last elections also, this was a demand of people here to teach right lesson to the builder lobby. And this is perhaps the reason that this order has come from the Supreme Court, but it is being converted in an event. It is being executed at such a grand scale, so that a right message should go out to the builders, to the corrupt builders, those who scam people in Noida, those who violate the laid norms. So this is also one messaging which UP government and Noida administration is currently looking at. The entire area will be cordoned off. At 2:15 the traffic will be stopped on the expressway. The senior officials will be present on the ground. The 7,000 residents around these two towers have been asked to vacate. Once the dust will settle, once the pollution level will come down, they'll be allowed to go to their apartments. Also, the pollution is going to be a big problem, in fact a major challenge. For that also, the water tankers have been arranged. Along with the water tankers, some other mechanisms are also being arranged and are in place to stop the pollution. In fact, the other buildings are well covered with cloth and other material, so that the pollution doesn't spread in the area, because it can reach the category of hazardous. So that is also is expected. So for that also arrangements are being made. Water tankers are being arranged, and the other mechanisms are being used to make sure that the pollution remains restricted to one area. So these are some details of Operation Demolition that is going to be executed today at 2:30 in Noida, and the entire administration is on ground, and they are involved in the preparation, and also the efforts are being made to make sure that this operation becomes successful and demolition, implosion happens without damaging the nearby societies, apartments, and also the pollution level remains restricted, and the residents move back to their apartments as soon as possible post the implosion. Siddhant Mishra in Gautam Buddhanagar for CNN News 18. I'm standing in Noida, Sector 93A, and behind me are the twin towers that are going to be demolished today at 2:30 p.m. This is happening after the orders of the Supreme Court, where it was found that these buildings were constructed violating all the laid norms, rules and regulations. And as of now, after the orders from the Supreme Court, Jet Demolition and Edifice Engineering is basically carrying out this task. Sharp at 2:30 p.m. we'll be seeing this particular demolition, where it is said that within 9 to 12 seconds this building will be coming down. Everyone is waiting for this event, because this is going to be a mega event of not only Delhi NCR but all over India, because last time we saw this kind of demolition that was in Kochi, but this was not in a densely populated area. At this point in time, if I can show you the visuals, these nearby societies have been asked to vacate the area. You can see the coverings where residents have covered their balconies because of the possibility of debris coming out to their societies as well. But as of now, ATS Village and Supertech Emerald, two societies have been asked to vacate the area. Somewhere around 5,000 people have left their homes, have vacated their homes, and as of now the parking facilities and the accommodation has been fixed. Some alternate arrangements have been made, and everyone is
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shivani Gupta joining you live from Dubai. The India-Pakistan match is about to start. It is 40 degrees hot here, but the real heat is the India-Pakistan preview. As you can see behind me, the fans are literally gone nuts. The fans are not allowing me to speak at all. But एक बार बात करते हैं. कितना जोश है आज?
आज बहुत जोश है, एकदम फुल फायर है, एकदम पैसन इंडिया को जिता के ही मानेंगे.
आज इंडिया जीतेगा ही, मान लो जीत गया.
जीतेगा बात जीतेगा.
जीतेगा
90 100%.
full passion and full all the best to the Indian team.
मैं को सवाल पूछने दीजिए। हाँ, आपको क्या लगता है कि मेन प्लेयर आज कौन रहेगा?
आज विराट कोहली का चलना बहुत जरूरी है, रोहित शर्मा का चलना बहुत जरूरी है, और हमारी दिल से यही ख्वाहिश है कि हमारे सारे प्लेयर्स अपना बेस्ट दें और इंडिया को ही जीतना है आज, और इंडिया ही जीतेगा। भारत माता की।
रुकिए। आपको क्या लगता है कि बुमराह नहीं खेल रहे, उस तरफ से शाहीन नहीं खेल रहे, तो मैच में कुछ कमी रह जाएगी?
कोई कमी नहीं रहेगा, हम सब लोग आ गए हैं कमी पूरी करने के लिए। और आज आपको रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली के जो सेंचुरीज, जो शतक, जो छक्के चौके लगेंगे, आप देखना।
अच्छा, पाकिस्तान फैन भी है हमारे साथ। आप यहीं के हैं, आए हैं पाकिस्तान से?
यहीं पर हूँ।
अच्छा, तो क्या उम्मीद है आज?
बाबर से और रिजवान से उम्मीदें हैं।
इसी बात पे
बाकी तो विराट भाई भी तो है।
इंडिया नहीं बोले तो मोदी बोल दो।
अच्छा, एक करके बात करें। आप पिछली बार जीते थे वर्ल्ड कप में, पहली जीत थी पाकिस्तान की, तो उसकी वजह से ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंट है या इस टीम में जो है उसकी वजह से है?
उसके वजह से, और ऑल्सो दुबई में हो रहा है मैच, उसके वजह से है।
आपको लगता है दैट इज अ बिग फैक्टर?
या दैट इज अ वेरी बिग फैक्टर बिकॉज पाकिस्तान का होम ग्राउंड दुबई है, नो डाउट, इसमें कोई बात नहीं है, बट इंडिया जीतेगा।
क्यों बट ऐसे कैसे?
इंडिया जीतेगा। पिछली बार हार गया था ना, इस बार जीतेगा।
इस बार जीतना बनता है।
इस बार
पिछली बार हारा था ना,
इस बार विराट कोहली चलेगा।
हम लोग खास इंडिया में उत्तर प्रदेश मथुरा से आए हैं, और मथुरा से आए हैं, कृष्णा की नगरी से आए हैं, यही प्रार्थना, यही प्रे करके आए हैं, अपने बांके बिहारी, अपनी यमुना मैया से प्रार्थना करके आए हैं।
बांके बिहारी लाल की जय, यमुना मैया की।
देखो, इंडिया का फैन है, उसके बाद अब सूर्य कुमार के कम बैक करना चाहिए, मिडिल ऑर्डर में वो संभाल लेंगे तो ज्यादा रहेगा चांस।
अच्छा, तो जब आप अंदर जाके चीयर करेंगे तो क्या नारा लगाने वाले वो लगाइए एक बार।
जीतेगा भाई, जीतेगा
इंडिया, जीतेगा
ईस्ट और वेस्ट,
जीतेगा इंडिया, जीतेगा।
आज डेफिनेटली इंडिया जीतेगा। विराट कोहली का 171st सेंचुरी इज कमिंग।
बट एक सेकंड, एक बात तो बताइए, विराट कोहली इतने टाइम से फॉर्म में नहीं दिखे थे। पिछली बार जब वर्ल्ड कप में हारे थे, वहीं से उनका डिक्लाइन ऐसा लगा शुरू हुआ, कैप्टन भी नहीं रहे।
वो
तो
आज इसलिए नहीं फॉर्म में थे क्योंकि वो आज फॉर्म में आएंगे।
आज आई थिंक
पिछली बार हम नहीं आए थे, अब की बार आए हैं।
As Virat Kohli rightly mentioned, he is completely out of the mental health issues, and he's going to perform out of the best of his innings in this today.
और बॉलर में किसकी तरफ देख रहे हैं? बुमराह नहीं है तो
भुवनेश्वर कुमार।
अच्छा, आप सारे साथ में आए हैं क्या उत्तर प्रदेश?
I am from Pune. I am from
दिल्ली।
चेन्नई, हरियाणा।
चेन्नई वाले को बोलने दीजिए, अश्विन खेलेगा आज नहीं खेलेगा?
खेलेगा, लाजिम खेलेगा। ही इज एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर है, सो वी एक्सपेक्ट हिम टू प्ले।
से समथिंग इन तमिल।
नहीं खेलेगा तो हम बोल लेके पहुंच जाएंगे वहाँ।
अश्विन विளையாடுவதற்கு என்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்கள்।
अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया। चलिए, फैंस आर एक्सट्रीमली योगी भी कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे दुबई में आके।
यहाँ योगी तो हर जगह है पूरे वर्ल्ड में।
अच्छा, चलिए, पॉलिटिक्स एंड क्रिकेट आर ऑलवेज टुगेदर एंड इट इज मिक्सिंग अ लिटिल बिट एज वेल। आप टिकट लेके आए हैं, जा रहे हैं अंदर? चलिए, और फैंस को दिखाते हैं। यहाँ पे देयर आर मोर फैंस हु हैव अ बिग इंडिया फ्लैग विद देम एंड दे आर चीयरिंग द एंटायर
सपोर्ट इंडिया। आई एम फ्रॉम नेपाल।
So this is the forward. I'll show you the queue also of the fans. That are the fans that are going in. We can't go close to that. But these are fans that are just about to get into the queue line as well. Traffic is really high today. And lots of people are walking as well. Thank you guys. All the best and enjoy the match. So I'll ask my camera person Guneet. It is live now. So you can see this is the queue. The fans are going in. A lot of them are walking from this side and some of them are walking from that side. On that note, even as we get you more fan voices, yes, more fans coming in their cars. Even as we get you more of that, let's set up the clash for you. Then we also go across to our guests. कितना टाइम है? All right, I'm standing outside the Dubai International Stadium where India and Pakistan are all set to review their rivalry. Last time around, it wasn't a great memory for India because India lost the World T20 clash right here on this ground. This time, they will be looking for some sort of a redemption and some sort of a revenge as far as this Pakistani team is concerned. Let's also go across to the guests who are joining us right now. Former India cricketer, selector, Kiran More is joining me. Also with me, Ayaz Memon, also with me, former cricketer Shishir Hatangri. Kiran More, I'm coming to you. You know, India-Pakistan rivalry, we've always talked about it. Do you think that this rivalry used to be more intense in your time? It is more friendly now?
No, Shivani, it has not changed. It looks good because the digital world, the cameras, there are so many cameras. Our time, there are only 5 to 6 cameras on the ground. That also on the match days only. Now, it starts from 5 days before. So they go to the hotel, they're following them everywhere in the practice sessions. People are talking, people are tweeting, they are on Insta. I think they have too much, hype in this, but definitely the rivalry is definitely India-Pakistan is huge, immense. I think always feel that when you play India-Pakistan match, people start talking for 1 month before, And when you look at the media and everyone,
Yes.
they're everywhere. And today's newspaper I was reading, huge, front page, article on India-Pakistan. So I think it is not gone. And same thing in Pakistan. I get a lot of calls from Pakistan. I have a lot of friends in Pakistan. They also call me, what's happening here? I said, this is interesting. It's good for the cricket also, I feel. It's good for the sports.
So, do you not think that in your time there was greater animosity? There was more ferociousness. These days, players are more friendly and maybe that jazba is not there? Would you say that is the case?
I am also I had a lot of friends in Pakistan, there's Pakistan team also. But after the match, before the match or after the match, that was fun. But on field, you will see the rivalry on this match also. Because last time we lost, I don't think Indian team is going to go there and just play as a friendly, way. But definitely after the game, like Virat made a brilliant gesture, that day. So that's good for the sport and great for the spirit of the game. I like it, and it should be like that. It should not take it very personally. Sometime I remember when the Indian team lost, I think there was stone pelting at Rahul Dravid's house and all those things happen, and people talk rubbish also. So I think it's not fair. End of the day, it's a game, but definitely it's a high level competition, and especially all Indians want to win against Pakistan, and all Pakistan wants to win against India. So I think this rivalry will never go. It will be there all the time,
All right, Shishir and Ayaz, I'm coming to both of you as well. Shishir, why don't you go first? Huge moment. Do you think that this clash, and possibly they will meet again in this Asia Cup, is reviving the India-Pakistan rivalry a little bit?
Oh, there's always been a rivalry, Shivani. It's also about the surround sound that happens, as a prelude to the symphony of India-Pakistan game, and that is something historically has been very exciting for both countries, for the cricket lover, and more importantly for the players, because it's also a test of their temperament, their tenacity, and their ability to cope with pressures which they may not face in other games. While players do say that it's another game of cricket, there's a buzz about an Indo-Pak game like there is for the Ashes, where you want to go that extra mile to show that you're up for it. And of course, everybody in the media and the fans make sure that they remind the players time and time again that you're forgiven for every other failure. But this is a very important game for your prestige,
But
for
not
your
against
pride.
Pakistan.
But
And
not
that is why
against Pakistan.
possibly this match becomes more important, because they're coming off exactly that failure, and that too in a World Cup. I ask your first thoughts very quickly before we also set up this clash in terms of the talent on the field.
Look, I think India versus Pakistan is a blockbuster, especially in white ball cricket, because there are not too many options playing test match cricket, as we know, between these two countries. And in fact, bilateral contests have been kind of diminished considerably. So any opportunity that arises, I think is something to be savored. I think there's so much talent in both the teams. And there's obviously the emotional fervor which accompanies it, which I think is fabulous. And what is important is there's so much fraternal respect between players from both teams. That is the big change which Kiran has been highlighting from say 20, 25, 30 years ago, which I witnessed at that point in time. That has transformed, what you mentioned is the ferociousness has transformed, sublimated into fraternal respect, but of course on the field it is very hard fought.
All right. On that note, I request all of you gentlemen to stay with me. Let's just set up this clash in terms of, exactly what we expect on the field. Here's a look at the preview.
The Indian lineup boasts of proven match winners like KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya and Ravi Ashwin, led by inspirational Rohit Sharma. There'll be fireworks at the very top. Kohli will be desperate to prove his mettle, while Suraksha will form the backbone of India's middle order. And then there are explosive players down the order who have ability to turn the game on its head. It's tough for any team to stop the men in blue on their day. And after the last T20 World Cup's thrashing at the hands of Pakistan, there'll be no dearth of motivation.
We get an opportunity once again to play against them, and it's a contest that we're all looking forward to, and we're all eager to go out there. And there might be history of how many times we've played, how many times each team has won, but it doesn't count for anything. It'll always start from zero.
But Pakistan too has got the monkey off its back with its first World Cup win over India last year. They will surely be high on confidence and would be hoping for a rerun. But their over-reliance on the top three of Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan and Fakhar Zaman and the lack of experience in the middle could leave them shaky in crunch situations.
जो पॉजिटिव चीज़ें थी उस मैच की वो हम लेके जाएंगे, स्पेशली माइंडसेट, और जिस तरह की हमने परफॉर्मेंसेस दी थी वो कोशिश करेंगे कि वैसा दोहराएं, लेकिन वो हिस्ट्री होगी, एक नया दिन होगा, नया मैच होगा.
In the lead up to the clash, both teams have been handed major injury blows, with Jasprit Bumrah and Shaheen Afridi being ruled out of the tournament.
For the first time in a long time, the build-up to an India-Pakistan blockbuster clash is very different for India. Not because they're not going to be in with a chance against the Pakistani side, but because they've lost a match just before this in a very comprehensive manner, and that was the first World Cup loss to Pakistan. So that will hang heavy. But the Indian team, the Pakistan team, both maintain that that match is the past. Having said that, this is a golden opportunity for Rohit Sharma and his men to redeem themselves after the ignominy of that World T20 loss. With camera person Guneet Singh Vedi in Dubai, Shivani Gupta for CNN News 18. All right, let's go back across to the guests who are joining us. Kiran More, let me start with you once again. If there is one thing that you had to pick that you think is going to help India win this match, what is that one thing going to be?
Our balance of the team. Only an issue I feel that Rohit has to make a huge call on the 11, how he's going to go. But I feel that if you go with a strong bowling lineup, we have better chance of winning the match, And we'll have to go with this extra bowler who can bat as well. Because I feel I will bet on Ashwin to be in part of the team, and definitely three fast bowlers like Hardik, Bhuvi and Harshdeep, three of them. then we'll have a Jadeja also and Chahal. So I will go with that balance because when you look at 4 fast bowlers, including Hardik, because Hardik is bowling also very well. But it depends on the pitch, how the pitch is going to be there. Because sitting here, you cannot say anything. But when you look at yesterday's match, I think ball did a bit, So I think they might go with Avish Khan also. You never know. But it's going to be a very interesting combination, and it's a big problem for Rohit Sharma. I think that.
All right, just request our guests to just, be patient with me because I have more fans joining us. One of them is a famous Dhoni fan, of course, Ramesh, who's joining us. Ramesh, आज का जज्बा कैसा है? राम?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बहुत अच्छा है क्योंकि आज काउंटडाउन शुरू हो गया है और कुछ ही घंटे बाकी हैं और इंडिया पाकिस्तान आमने सामने जो राइवलरी अब चल रही है इतने दिनों से हमने 21 का बहुत सुन लिया 10 विकेट लेकिन आज ग्राउंड पे दिखाएंगे 10 विकेट होता है क्या है क्योंकि अब माहौल अलग है टीम अलग है और टीम का कॉम्बिनेशन भी बहुत अच्छा है और रोहित शर्मा के पास कैप्टनसी है और उनके सभी प्लेयर हमारे सब प्लेयर रेडी हैं टूर्नामेंट को खेलने के लिए और आज दिखा देंगे किसमें है कितना दम तो इंडिया आज करके दिखा दो भारत माता की आपको क्या लगता है कि इस बार टीम ज्यादा फॉर्म में है पिछली बार जब वर्ल्ड कप में थे तो काफी सारे प्लेयर फॉर्म में नहीं लग रहे
हाँ इस बार टीम हमारी ज्यादा फॉर्म में है और इंशाल्लाह हम लोग जीतेंगे इंडिया जीतेगी इंशाल्लाह
इस बार जो है एशिया कप इंडिया के पास आने वाला है और जो एक गर्मा गर्म चाय का कप है वो पाकिस्तान के पास जाने वाला है
तो आपको लगता है कि मौका इंडिया का है
बिल्कुल पक्का मौका इंडिया का और इंडिया पर अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत सारे लोग आ गए
इधर आ जाइए पाकिस्तान फैन
भाई आइए खुल के मैदान
चले क्या कह रहे
इंडिया के पास बहुत सारे अच्छे ऑप्शंस हैं तो इस बार इंडिया को कोई हरा नहीं पाएगा एशिया कप
अच्छा ऑप्शन बहुत ज्यादा ये बहुत सही बात बोली कि बेंच स्ट्रेंथ बहुत ज्यादा
चलेंगे
रोहित शर्मा सेंचुरी मारेंगे आज
सेंचुरी तो नहीं मार पाएगा लेकिन 70-80 तो होगा मारेंगे
70-80 कह रहे हैं
हिटमैन शो चलेगा तो हिट ही रहेगा फ्लॉप नहीं होगा ये
आज कोहली खेलेगा
कोहली से बहुत उम्मीद है ना
बिल्कुल इस बार कोहली मारने वाले हैं और देखिए जीते कोई भी लेकिन मैं समझता हूं कि गेम बढ़िया होना चाहिए मजा आना चाहिए और कप अगर इंडिया के पास आता है तो और ही बढ़िया रहेगा वो चीज तो
चलिए फिर एक बार फिर से चीयर करके सुना दीजिए जो अंदर नारे लगाएंगे
चले
क्या करें
इंडिया जीतेगा इंडिया जीतेगा जीतेगा भाई जीतेगा इंडिया जीतेगा भारत माता की इंडिया 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 इंडिया
All right, so lots of fans still gathering here. I thank you all for joining us. All of them are wanting to go inside. The queues are long, as you can see. More and more fans are still coming. I'll ask my VJ, Guneet, to just pan and show you how the fans are still walking in. This is roughly 1 hour before the match. And there are a lot of fans. It's a sea of blue and a sea of green today. Lots of Pakistani fans too with their flags who are here. They will have a lot of expectations too. All right, let me go across to our guests one more time. So, let me come to you, Shishir. Who is your player of the match today? Who has to work? Otherwise, it might be trouble for India. Both Ayaz and Shishir can answer that. Shishir, why don't you go first?
I don't have a crystal ball, Shivani, but I can gauge from what happened in the last World Cup. Somebody who picks up early wickets for us, maybe the hero. Now, I can't really tell you who it'll be, but somebody who bowls with a new ball and picks up early wickets, to my mind, could be a very important, critical player in this match itself. Because if you saw the last World Cup, it was those early wickets by Shaheen Afridi that really created the passage for a good performance by Pakistan. If we can provide those early wickets, again, as I said, I can't pick names, but somebody who uses the new ball, and we've got a couple of good bowlers who can use the new ball. If we can pick up early wickets, then probably he will be my favorite player for the day.
Yes. I asked for you, is there any one player you have great expectations from?
Hardik Pandya. I think he's the man in great form for India, has been and remember, he was under so much scrutiny in the last World Cup. In fact, he was widely criticized. He was not bowling then. He's bowling 4 overs regularly now. He's a great finisher. He's a brilliant fielder. I think he could actually be the difference between the two teams if he sustains the form he has shown right from the start of the IPL and through all the other matches that he's played.
All right, on that note, let me just play what both captains had to say on the eve of this match. Let's listen in. Then we'll of course talk about Rohit Sharma as a captain as well.
For a rivalry like India-Pakistan, how much did the loss in the last match in a World Cup, which was our first loss to Pakistan in a World Cup, hang on the team? Even though it's been some time, does that still get discussed and looked back at, and before this clash, do things from that match get talked about of what went wrong and things like that?
We do talk about our losses, there's no doubt. I mean, that's how we want to improve as a team. What we didn't do right, what we did right, and of course that loss did hurt us at that point. But I think it's been a while since that game has been played. So for us, we've got another challenge in front of us now, and there's no point thinking about that loss at the moment. We need to think what we didn't do as a team. Particularly on that night, and since then we've played a lot of games. We've tried to correct those mistakes in the games that we played after that.
बाबर, आपने बोला कि ज़्यादा गर्मी नहीं है इंडिया पाकिस्तान क्लैश की. पिछली बार तो आपने पहला वर्ल्ड कप मैच जीता है इंडिया के खिलाफ, जो लास्ट मैच था. तो आपकी बार तो आपका बिल्डअप बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए. आप तो अंडर प्ले कर रहे हो क्लैश को, आप उसको यूज नहीं कर रहे हो पिछले मैच को.
देखें, वो मैच गुजर गया, अब नया मैच आ रहा है और नई कंडीशंस है और नए मैचेस हैं, और बिल्कुल कॉन्फिडेंस होता है. और ये नहीं कि हम बड़ी बड़ी बातें करें, ज़रूरी नहीं है बड़ी बातों से कुछ होता है. मेरे ख्याल से जितना आप ग्राउंड में अपने आप को दिखाएंगे उतना ज़्यादा अच्छा है.
All right, let's talk about Rohit Sharma and Babar Azam. Of course, both of them are extremely important for their teams. We've established that. But Kiran, I wanted to talk to you about Rohit. Last time around in that match, he scored a golden duck. So as a captain this time around, there will be no dearth of motivation for him to do really well as a captain and as a batsman.
Yeah, I mean, he's captaining first time against Pakistan. So I think definitely it's not easy. All the captains I played along, like Azad to Kapil and everyone who played, they were under pressure, So I think he'll be under pressure, but he's a guy, he's a cool character. I know him very closely because I also do a lot of work with Mumbai Indians. So Rohit is a different person altogether and very easygoing. No doubt Virat did a fantastic job, everything. But Rohit, I feel, will definitely score runs today. And he's a player, if he starts going, he's the most dangerous player in world cricket. So I feel that he's a captain cool for me, and this is a lucky captain as well, I feel.
Absolutely. You said, of course, the right thing. He's calm. He's a little different than Virat. Let's see if he's able to make his mark today, both as a captain and as a batsman. Don't forget, we will talk about Virat Kohli as well a little bit more, but after a very short break. So I request our guests to stay with us, and I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
India is all set to take on Pakistan for the Asia Cup. With undeterred spirits and unfurled flags, children and adults are cheering for our team alike. And let's talk to a few of them how they're feeling and what they're feeling.
I like the India and Pakistan match, as India always win from Pakistan in World Cup also. So I hope that India wins.
India team बस अपने 100% लगा दो, हार जीत doesn't matter. All you need to do is give your 100% on the ground.
और कोई मैसेज इंडियन टीम के लिए?
इंडिया टीम ही जीतेगी.
जीते हारे that is a different thing. Hard work करते हैं, जीतते हैं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. And we always support Indian cricketers.
I'm really excited for the match, and I think that India will win. If India is doing a hard work, then it will surely win. As my mother says, that whoever works hard will win. हमें अपना बेस्ट खेलना है. हम आपको पूरा सपोर्ट देंगे जितना हो पाए.
वेल आई थिंक जो अभी इंडिया की टीम है, हमारा जो स्क्वाड है वो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है और अभी माइंडसेट बहुत क्लियर हो चुका है बैट्समैन का कि जैसे पहले क्या होता था, थोड़े 2-3 आउट होते थे तो डाउन हो जाती थी टीम, पर अभी बेसिकली सारे जितने भी प्लेयर्स हैं मैच विनर्स हैं, हार्दिक पांड्या से लेके जितने भी नीचे भी आते हैं.
मुझे पता है कि इंडिया इस बार ज़रूर जीतेगी और आप लोग बिल्कुल भी घबराना मत.
बस मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि अपना बेस्ट करें और टीम को जिताएं.
Demolition, hello, sorry. डिमोलिशन जो है वो एक मैसेज देगा कि जो भी कोई भी इलीगल इस तरीके के काम है उसके ऊपर सख्त एक्शन प्रशासन की तरफ से लिया जाएगा। और इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने जो यहाँ अरेंजमेंट किए हैं तो अपने नेबर्स के लिए सभी को ये एक मैसेज भी है कि अपना जब भी मुसीबत में किसी को नेबर के ऊपर कोई मुसीबत आती है तो साथ में आप उसके खड़े हैं, तो ये मैसेज भी एक सभी के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट मैसेज है।
So the message is very outright that the message which will be given today is against corruption and against the people who have been misusing the authorities and are involved in rampant corruption.
We are currently reporting from the Noida city outside the Twin Towers. You can see the preparations are underway. These are the green corridor which are being carried out by the Noida police personnel to carry out any of the contingency in the place where the situation arises, where the emergency part has to be carried out by the Noida police personnel. You can see there is ambulance as well. Also, these vehicles are taking rounds at a different time and at different places. Also, I would urge my camera person to show you the visuals that the route nearby to Twin Towers, they have been diverted. This is one such particular barricading where you can see that the diversion poster has been put up by the Noida police personnel. There is proper deployment of not just Noida traffic police but also the Noida police has been deployed here in numbers and in different pockets. So these are the visuals of the Twin Towers which are set to be brought down at about 2:30 p.m. We have been told that at around 2:29 p.m. the sirens are supposed to go off and the final countdown for the last 60 seconds will start, and at about 2:15 p.m. the traffic at the Greater Noida Expressway, they will be asked to shut down immediately for a brief period. So these are the visuals we are showing you. There is excitement among the residents of the nearby people. There are different societies that I would urge my camera person to show you that these are the nearby localities. These are the societies, RWAs, where on the rooftop some of the people can clearly be seen here. This is the excitement among the residents, among the people of the Noida city, and not just Noida. This has been a talk of the country so far, and today we are going to show you the visuals at how it is supposed to go down. So as per the given timeline, at about 12 p.m. the checking will be completed. Explosives in 2 towers interconnected, they are also going to be checked. The 6 members blasting team will take their position at 100 meter away from the Twin Towers. And we have told you earlier as well that at about 2:15 p.m. the traffic on the Greater Noida Expressway, it is going to be stopped. The final countdown will start at 2:25 p.m. and at about 2:29 p.m. The sirens are also supposed to go down. And
thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Shivani Gupta, joining you live from the Dubai International Stadium behind me, and the fans' rows have already begun. So a substantial number of people, of fans, have actually made it inside, and a long queue is still persisting. So a lot of fans are still coming in. They're trying to go in. We will get you what we discussed with our Indian fans, especially extremely exuberant as always. This time around, extremely confident that India is going to beat Pakistan in Dubai. But on that note, let me also go across to some fans in India. My colleague Mihir is joining with a few of them. Mihir, over to you.
Absolutely. I'm at Mumbai Shivaji Park, and this is the breeding ground of some of the finest cricketers. We know that Sachin Tendulkar took his training here. You'll find many cricket enthusiasts not only playing the match but also enjoying it. Today is a day when there'll be a large screen set up here in some time from now, and of course many of them will get to enjoy that big match, that mother of all India-Pakistan matches that they always awaited and is always exciting to watch. In fact, I have some fans who are actually playing cricket at this point. Of course, they are on the other side, they are on the batting side right now, so they can do some talking. हमको बताइए क्या आप एक्साइटेड हैं? आज आप खेल रहे हैं मुझे पता है, बट इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच होने वाला है. इंडिया लास्ट मैच हार गया था पाकिस्तान से. क्या आशा रखते हैं, क्या लगता है आपको, कैसा खेलेगा इंडिया आज?
इंडिया ऐसा खेलेगा कि पिछले जो मैच हुआ था उसमें जो एक विकेट भी इंडिया नहीं निकाल पाई थी, तो ये टाइम पे शायद नहीं, पूरा भरोसा है कि वो कम से कम 90 विकेट निकाल ही लेगी, क्योंकि पिछले टाइम का जो बदला है वो इंडिया 100% लेने वाली है.
अच्छा, आप बताइए, आप कितने एक्साइटेड है? आप देख रहे हैं स्कोर शुरू नहीं हुआ है अभी तक आपके फोन में, बट ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पे एक बड़ा सा स्क्रीन लगेगा, आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे, घर पे दोस्तों के साथ देखने वाले?
नहीं, घर पे दोस्तों के साथ देखने वाले हैं।
तो किस तरह से एंजॉय करेंगे? आज संडे है और इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच है, कौन है आपका फेवरेट प्लेयर? क्या चांसेस लगते हैं इंडिया के? बिकॉज जो पाकिस्तान की टीम है वो भी कमजोर तो नहीं है।
नहीं, पाकिस्तान की टीम तो काफी हार्ड है और मेरा फेवरेट प्लेयर विराट कोहली है और आज लगता है विराट कोहली बहुत अच्छा खेलेंगे, उम्मीद रखा है।
तो विराट कोहली के तो लिए एक स्पेशल मौका है आज, उनका 100th
T20 100 मैच उनका, आज अच्छा खेलेंगे हम लोग सब, उसके लिए हम लोग खास करके फैमिली के साथ एंजॉय करेंगे।
और देखिए, सो ऑफ कोर्स वी डोंट हैव यू नो ऑल द ओल्डर वंस, वी हैव यंग क्रिकेट एंथुसियास्ट्स आल्सो। दिस लिटिल चैम्प वाज प्रैक्टिसिंग सम ऑफ द बिट। आपका नाम क्या है?
जुनैद।
जुनैद, आप मैच देखने वाले हैं इंडिया पाकिस्तान का?
यस।
और कितना मजा आता है इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच देखने में?
बहुत मजा आता है।
आपके पापा आपके साथ खेल रहे थे अभी कुछ देर में?
यस।
तो आप बड़े होके भी क्रिकेटर बनेंगे?
यस।
आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे, किस तरह से आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं? आप बच्चों के साथ खेलने आते हैं, उनको एनकरेज करते हैं, इंडिया पाकिस्तान का जो मैच होता है वो कितना इम्पोर्टेंट होता है एज अ क्रिकेट एंथुसियास्ट?
इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच वेरी हाई टेंशन मैच होता है और मैं आशा करता हूँ इंडिया जीते और अपना खिलाड़ी सब अच्छा खेले।
कौन है आपका फेवरेट खिलाड़ी?
अभी पांड्या तो अच्छा ही खिलाड़ी है, ऑलराउंडर है, तो काफी अच्छा ही है वो।
पर लगता है पंड्या की बॉलिंग या इंडियन टीम की बॉलिंग पाकिस्तान के बल्लेबाजों जो बैट्समैन हैं उनको अच्छी तरह से कंट्रोल कर सकती है?
कंट्रोल कर सकता है आराम से, और हर प्लेयर हर टाइम अच्छा खेले ये भी ठीक नहीं है। आज मेरा है तो कल उसका भी हो सकता है, तो क्रिकेट में कोई भी चीज पहले से तय नहीं होता है।
और विराट कोहली कैसे खेलेंगे? उनका फॉर्म थोड़ा डगमगा,
काफी फॉर्म खराब है स्टार्टिंग में।
तो आज से शुरुआत होगी उनकी?
शुरुआत तो होना चाहिए, हो जाएगा तो अच्छी बात है हमारे लिए। तो
So clearly, as you can see, fans are excited. They have their own tips and tricks as far as, snatching or clinching that victory in this match. But yes, they are eagerly waiting for the match to begin. This is the mother of all matches, and Mumbai is very excited. Shivaji Park is going to see a lot of crowd today as the screen will be set up in some time.
Absolutely. The stage is set. You know, the Indian team is here, the teams are here, and we can hear the cheer, as the teams also will start coming out to the field for some warm-ups, etc. Kiran More, let's talk about Virat Kohli. But before that, I request our guests to just listen to what Rohit Sharma said on Virat Kohli. He was asked in the pre-match press conference what he thinks of Virat coming back after a break, and also the form that he's looking in, purely from the point of view of how he's looking in the nets. Listen in.
सामने से जो मैंने देखा मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। अच्छे टच में दिख रहे, काफ़ी मेहनत कर रहे अपने बैटिंग को लेकर, और ऐसा लग नहीं रहा है कि कुछ ज़्यादा चीज़ों के बारे में सोच रहे। एकदम जो पहले हम देखते थे उनको वैसे ही है, कोई ज़्यादा कोई एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी कोई चेंजेस मुझे तो ऐसा दिखने को नहीं मिला है। ऑब्वियसली एक महीने के ब्रेक के बाद आ रहे हैं तो वो फ्रेशनेस जो है, जो ज़रूरी है हर एक प्लेयर में, वो देखने को मिल रही है।
All right. So that break is being considered very crucial for Virat Kohli. Kiran More, everybody remembers that 183 knock while chasing by Virat Kohli versus Pakistan, his highest score in an ODI still. And that was also in Asia Cup, in the one-day format Asia Cup. So, when it comes to Virat Kohli, he's just done everything that is expected. Do you think this can be the start of a revival for him? Because a very crucial World Cup is also coming in.
This is a man who has scored so many hundreds in international cricket. For me, he's a legend, And every cricketer goes through this, that Virat is going through that. But I feel that this big players, big occasion players, and they always come out with flying colors. And I feel that Virat will come out big time. But Shivani is going to be very interesting. If he score runs, it's going to be big headlines tomorrow or tonight. And if he doesn't do well, it will be Virat Kohli's headline only.
You know, Kiran, I'm very interested in asking you, if you were, let's say, in the dressing room, if you were the coach, whatever, what would you tell Virat Kohli before a match like this?
Shivani, if I am coach, I will not tell him anything. The person who has scored 7,300 in international cricket, he has loads of experience and he's a fighter. He gives 120% on feed, you know. So I will not say anything. I'll let him go, let him play with his own mind and with his own abilities. And he has done it before. So I will not say anything. You know, big players, we don't say much, you know. You keep nagging them all the time. There are a lot of things goes the other way around. So I think I will let him go. I'll respect him because he's a big player and he knows how to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shishir and Ayaz, I'm going to come to you in just a bit on Virat Kohli and your thoughts about his break and, you know, mental fitness, etc. that even fans were talking about here. But let me go across to Preeti, my colleague who's joining us from Guwahati. Preeti, what's the atmosphere like there? Are fans gearing up for this India-Pakistan clash?
You can see as today there is this high voltage match between India and Pakistan, and the entire country waits to witness this high voltage match. And you can see currently I'm standing in RKB hostel of Cotton College, and you can see the guys are behind me, and they're the young sports enthusiasts, as you can say, and they are here regarding waiting to watch the India-Pakistan match. And I would like to talk to them regarding what they are expecting from this today's match. And you can see they are cheering up for the team. हम आपसे बात करना चाहते हैं, आज इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच है, तो आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, कैसा होगा आज का मैच? बिकॉज द लास्ट मैच दैट इंडिया वर्सेस पाकिस्तान हैपेंड, देयर इंडिया एक्चुअली लॉस्ट. सो आज क्या होगा?
आज मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया जरूर जीतेगा. ये भी लग रहा है कि इंडिया हारेगा क्योंकि पाकिस्तान जिस फॉर्म में है. तो
पाकिस्तान के फॉर्म में आप पाकिस्तान के फॉर्म के बारे में बात बोल रहे हैं. कौन ज्यादा चैलेंज हो सकता है इंडियन टीम के लिए? आपको क्या लगता है पाकिस्तान की टीम से कौन बड़ा चैलेंज हो सकता है फॉर द टीम ऑफ इंडिया? बाबर आजम. So you can see a lot of sports enthusiasts, cricket enthusiasts are sitting here, and they are excitedly waiting for the match to start, and they have been waiting for this match since a long time now. And you can see that as now the players are already entering the pitch. That is why they are quite excited. हम आपसे भी बात करना चाहते हैं, आपको क्या लगता है आज का गेम क्या होगा, क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं? विराट कोहली के बारे में क्या बोलेंगे? क्योंकि a lot of time विराट कोहली is a person, वो अच्छा खेले या बुरा खेले, he gets the headline. So what do you have to say on that?
Obviously, yeah. All Indian, not only Indians, even the world are waiting for the comeback of King Kohli. So yes, we need and we want Kohli to come back, and we believe in him, and we have full faith in him that he will come back.
So आप लोगों को क्या लगता है आज इंडिया जीतेगा कि नहीं जीतेगा? So, so you can hear the cheer of the students here in RKB hostel and of Cotton College, and they are waiting for the match to start now.
All right. Let me go across to our other guests as well on Virat Kohli. Preeti, thanks a lot for joining us. Okay, Shishir, what do you make of Virat Kohli? Does a break like this help? And, you know, I've always felt that Virat Kohli may have had failures, for example, in England the first time around, but when he went back, he was prepared and he did amazingly well. So he works on things, you know, he has that knack of bouncing back. And we all know his work ethic. As long as you have that work ethic, you can always bounce back. So do you think today could be his day?
Again, no crystal ball, but you know, I'm not one for analytics, but they're good reference point. And sometimes you just tend to look at a longish career like Virat has, and you know, you would like to think, you know, that a little bit of an aberration in his career was something that everyone probably goes through. This will be no different. His comeback, like somebody said, you know, will make headlines. If he fails again, it will be another talking point in terms of him not being rejuvenated after that break. So these are things I really can't tell. But I'm quite sure one thing, that, you know, when you had a break like this and you cleared the cobwebs in your mind, the chances are that, you know, you'll come back with some with zest and just a renewed confidence and a frame of mind that may just help you to maximum performance. And that is something we expect, hope, and he has a bit of luck, of course, that will help him achieve that.
I asked your thoughts.
Shivani, I don't, apart from Sachin Tendulkar, I don't think any other Indian player has been through so much pressure, the pressure of expectation. And of course, he's had a lean trot, which is extended to almost 3 years, and therefore the pressure has only multiplied. Everybody says, Kiran has said it, and Shishir have said it, how great a player he is. So that's not the issue. The point now is that will he play in the T20 World Cup? Will he be in the squad? The captain, coach Rahul Dravid have been quite explicit that they want him in the team. And I think if he has a couple of good knocks, match-winning knocks, it's not about 100 or 90 or 80 in this tournament. If he has a couple of match-winning knocks, he will make his position in the squad absolutely certain. I think it will scuttle all debate that there still exists around this, around his inclusion. And maybe this is the match which will see his revival.
That's what we're all hoping for, isn't it? Because I don't think, I asked that we want to go into the World Cup without somebody like Virat Kohli. And this is the platform to announce yourself. He doesn't, I don't want to act like, he has to do it in today's match, otherwise it's a failure. He has a few matches to go, and who knows, we'll play Pakistan again, as I said. So this is ideal preparation for him, just to get a feel again and bounce back, because he also must know he's virtually fighting for that place in that squad and possibly his career.
Yes, look, he can't be oblivious to that, of that. He's obviously aware as to what is happening. He's he's a very intelligent guy. And the few times that I met him, and from what one reads about the way he talks and he gives press conferences, all that. So he's not somebody who's living in fool's paradise. He knows that there's pressure on him. He knows he's been through a lean trot, and he knows that he has to start delivering for the team, because you can't be clinging on to past glory. And sport can be very cruel, but this is where the champions emerge. From a crisis to regain your place is the stuff of stuff of lore and of legend. And I hope that Virat Kohli sees this tournament as the recovery or the redemption song for himself.
Right. All right, let me just try and show you some more visuals here of the fans who are still pouring in, and the fans who are obviously continuing to be here and talk to us as well. We will go across to them in just a bit. But I believe my colleague Anshul is now joining us from Goa. What a wonderful place to be joining from, Anshul. I am standing in the Dubai heat, which is over 40 degrees, and we are all almost melting. How is the weather in Goa, and how are the fans in Goa?
So yes, being from Delhi, I can definitely tell you that the weather in Goa is absolutely beautiful when it comes to the weather comparing to Delhi. And absolutely the fans are absolutely excited. But yes, since it's a time of sunset and I'm standing in Petro's shack, one of the most famous shacks in South Goa. And if you could see in the visuals behind me, the preparations are on, the screen is on. And I'll speak to the manager over here who has made some very good preparations to get in the crowds over here to make sure that they enjoy this very big Sunday blockbuster that is happening today. Sir, आज क्या plans है आपके, कैसे लोगों को crowd को इकट्ठा करने का plan?
Basically हम लोग बोर्ड डाला बाहर, उस पे हम लोग buy one get one drinks दे रहे हैं, beer और sangria स्पेशल. ये हम लोग प्रिपरेशन है, और कुछ स्पेशल हम लोग डेजर्ट रेडी किए हैं और स्टार्टर्स भी है हम लोग का.
क्या लगता है आज इंडिया जीतेगी, बदला पूरा होगा इंडिया का?
Definitely sir, long time it is we see you for the match Pakistan India.
So yes, it is a win. Very true. So yes, it is definitely the sunset time. People are enjoying on the beach right now. If I could show you in the visuals over here, the beach is right across this shack. And yes, people are enjoying on the beach right now. And once the sunset happens, people are going to get into these shacks. They are going to enjoy with their drinks the match between India and Pakistan, the ultimate Sunday blockbuster that we are going to see. And yes, this is definitely going to be the badla that everyone has been waiting for eagerly since the last 2020 World Cup. We saw the kind of disappointment that happened, especially to cricket fans like us. I was sad for at least 2 to 3 days after the match happened and the kind of results that we saw of that match. But yes, this is the very crucial match almost after 1 year. And in this Asia Cup, we could actually see 3 matches that would happen between India and Pakistan. So yes, a big day for all cricket fans, especially in India, who are eagerly waiting for Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and KL Rahul to finally come out and fire all guns blazing at Pakistan. So yeah, it remains to be seen what turns out. But yes, the hopes are high, the expectations are high, especially in Goa. The people are absolutely excited, Shivani.
All right. Anshul, thanks a lot for joining us. And we've got some more fans joining us. Before we go across to some of the other chats that I had, look at the fervor as far as the fans are concerned. This is an almost complete sea of blue, but there's also lots of Pakistani fans. Where are you from?
I'm from India.
You're from India?
Yeah.
You're cheering for India, bleeding blue? Although
Yes.
not wearing
India.
India.
We love India.
Some Pakistani fans are also here. Are you confident?
Thank you.
What do you think about the match today?
We'll win.
Really? Okay. Let's see if Pakistan wins.
Yeah, inshallah Pakistan will win.
कौन होगा आपका प्लेयर कौन होगा?
बाबर आजम for sure. बाबर आजम, बाबर शेर.
और अगर बाबर आजम फेल हो गए तो फिर पाकिस्तान साइड फेल हो जाती है.
नहीं, फिर भी इंशाल्लाह जीतेगा.
चलिए.
विराट कोहली, विराट कोहली.
India! India! You see that lots of fans are making their way. They don't want to stop anymore because time is almost there for the match to begin. But lots of people extremely excited. India! All right. So there's good camaraderie between the fans also. Like we were discussing earlier, it's not as hostile as it used to be at one point of time. I spoke to former India cricketer Deepdas Gupta also earlier about this match and lots more. Listen in. So the big match is upon us. I have with me former India cricketer Deepdas Gupta joining me. Deep, how excited are you personally to see this clash? Because it's almost a year since we lost to them in the World Cup, and we all want to see how India will respond.